is a pain in the butt. You hit your ball in the trees and then you lip out the putt. But if you've got a little time, then come and spend it with us. 'Cause now you're listening to the Rough Cut.
Hello, and welcome down to the Rough Cut Golf Podcast, where you join us on a momentous episode, ladies and gentlemen. We are 50 episodes into the podcast. Who would have thought we'd have got this far? We, of course, are proudly the non-award-winning best golf podcast out there. And I just want to say a massive thank you. Well, I'm sure we all want to say a massive thank you to everyone who has been listening and watching so far. In the space of that almost a year, we've managed to grow. We're about 20,000 listeners per week on YouTube and on the podcast. So I just want to say a massive thank you to everybody who tunes in every week, listens to us babble on. It's been remarkable how you've stayed for so long.
Yeah, look at us, eh?
I think who'd have thought it?
Who'd have thought it? Not me.
It does feel quite good to get to 50.
Yeah, it feels pretty. I'm very proud.
Yeah, very proud.
There's a thing that I always used to see about podcasts where it's like, only 1 in 10 get to 10 episodes, and then only 1 in 100 get to. So it's nice to see that we've done it. We're
like nailing those stats one by one, every episode, every week. We're just knocking on the door of those bigger stats.
The reason is like there's only so many podcasts that get to a certain point. It's the same with YouTube channels, for example. They only get to a certain point when people actually take an interest.
Yeah.
So if we were sat here after 50 episodes and we had no one listening, I'm going to predict that we wouldn't have got this far.
I would still be doing it. I love it.
Yeah, so I'm going to take a wild thrusting stab in the murky darkness and say that we wouldn't have got to 50. So without you guys, it would be nothing. Thank you so much for listening and persevering. It's going to be a bit of a weird time after this because we're heading into this Christmas period. The whole kind of office and like the studio and everything's going to get redone. So as we move into the new year, everything's going to look quite different. So we're evolving the podcast as we go as well, which has been good. Any highlights over the first 50 episodes? Should we actually say what we're doing in this episode as well?
Yeah, I guess we can let them know.
Yep. So the most recent episodes of the Rough Cut Golf Podcast have been kind of littered with star-studded guest appearances, have they not?
Yeah, back to back.
So we had Grant Horvat.
Mm-hmm.
We had Michael Morris. We had some guy from Warrington.
Yeah, like bold guy.
Some bold dude.
Never heard of him.
Matthew.
Average putter.
Yeah.
Matthew said.
Matt Fryer was excellent and is officially the best putter on the internet.
He's definitely the most confident.
Yeah. I'll give it 100%. And today we have a chat with someone who has done something that I'm sure every golf YouTuber has thought about and dreamed about, which was playing a PGA Tour event, Mr. George Bryan.
He did it.
He actually did the thing.
He did the thing.
Did the thing well.
He did the thing and absolutely smashed it out of the ballpark. If you don't know George Bryan, he's part of the Bryan Brothers collective. Wes, his brother, and basically they started years and years ago doing trick shots.
Yep.
But I mean, I'm gonna put this out there, and I don't think the brothers would mind me saying this. It was kind of a trick shot. Basically, George juggled, he tossed it to Wes, and Wes smacked it down the fairway or like into the woods or whatever. And they did this for a good solid year.
That's the only trick they had.
Yeah, and they kind of got away with it for a year. Like they went to
change the setting.
Like they did this like literally on the 18th of the old course. Like they did this one thing for ages, and it's kind of like, this is cool.
We've got to 50 episodes of the podcast. It sounds like the same thing.
All we do is chat complete nonsense and know nothing about the world of golf.
We get away with it.
But it was like a proper thing where you're just like, oh, where are they now? Where are they going to do it now?
Okay.
And it never got less satisfying.
The location. I think the same is true for people like Mac Boucher. You're like, oh, he hits slings, and then every once in a while you're scrolling through and the background is beautiful. He slung it round a mountain.
Yeah. Shout out to Mac.
He does all of his stuff in Canada, doesn't he? It's just
it's not a bad place to be to do that.
Well, that's just based like Reddish.
Didsbury. Wait, we need to shout out Didsbury again.
Didsbury again, yeah. And with the Bryan Bros and with Wes. So Wes got on tour, won on tour as well. So he's an exceptional player. Actually, kind of the last few years he's had issues with injuries. But George has never played a PGA Tour event. And he's he's a committed full-time YouTuber now. And then a few weeks ago, he managed to get an invite into a PGA Tour event. So
Wild.
shall we just jump into the conversation with him? Mm-hmm. Shall we see what he's got to say? There's something very, very interesting and I think potentially monumentally genre changing
Yes.
in this interview about how he got the invite. So just to say a big thank you, George, for jumping on. He's freshly back from Bermuda with when we filmed this video, and the can he's drinking out of is not alcoholic.
That's
Yeah, do you know
That's
what?
a good point to
When I
make.
first saw it, I thought it was like a Corona can.
Yeah, I did. I
I thought
asked.
it was Corona.
Is it liquid death or something?
Like, bear in mind when I had this
Relentless.
conversation with him, it was in the afternoon hour time, but it was like 8 a.m. for him.
Right, okay.
And I was like, oh, he's hitting it on.
He's very happy.
It is not alcoholic. So guys, you enjoyed this interview. I will see you back here in approximately 34 minutes.
And we are on with the all-conquering hero, George Bryan. How are we, mate? You good?
Oh, doing great. It's we're a few days past the chaos that was last week, and so we're starting to feel like, okay, let's get back. We're back in kind of a normal rhythm-ish, but at the same time, I'm still pretty much on cloud nine from last week. It was, an unreal week and an insane week.
Yeah, I mean, I know we spoke kind of like a few weeks ago, and it all seems to have snowballed like so quick.
Yeah.
So I remember when we chatted, you just got through, I think, first stage of Corn Ferry qualifying.
Yes.
Said your game was in decent shape, that you might have an invite to the Bermuda Championship. And since then, mate, you just seem to have been on a little bit of a tear. So do you want to take everyone through like your last kind of few weeks and exactly what has gone on?
Yeah, so I mean, it's really started like this year. You kind of have to go back a little bit. Like, I mean, everyone that watches my videos and it's seen, oh, you're really good, and you can kind of not fake it with YouTube, but like it can look better than it actually is. Like, I don't know. Anyway, but like 2 years ago, it never was to my like standards, if that makes sense, of like if I wanted to actually like legitimately compete. But this year, something changed. All the comments, oh, you're good enough and good enough. I'm finally kind of started to believe in it, and kind of made up this Year of the Beast thing to kind of pep myself up and try to give myself some more confidence. But this year, starting, I don't know, March, April, it felt different. Like the game was like better than it ever has been, honestly. And so that rolls into me signing up for Monday qualifier in, I think it was end of July. Well, actually, it started with signing up for Q School in like June. I was like, what? Like, you know what? People said it. My game's good. Let's just do it. Let's see what happens. And I was like, the day after, I was like, oh boy, what have I done? I'm actually signed up for Corn Ferry Q School. Had done it 5 years. Did I make the right decision? Well, that rolls into Monday qualifier for a PGA Tour event in which I lost in a playoff to my brother, shot 66. Again, haven't felt those kind of nerves in well over 5 years. And I executed, I played well. And I was like, like, this is interesting. Like, maybe I am as good as what literally everyone in the comments, dude, your game is good. My mom, my dad, Wesley, like, hey, you're really good. And I think that July 34th was probably the first time that I actually started believing, like really 100% believe, like, man, maybe my game is better than I think it is. And so that leads into pre-qualifying of Q School, where I shoot 66, 67, 68 and win like an actual Corn Ferry qualifying event. And I was like, holy cow. Like, again, it's not like I was like, oh, I should be here. I should be winning. It was like, wow, this is like amazing. I surprised myself. It was really cool to feel the nerves and execute and play well. So that was September, I think, like 13th or 14th. That, what was that, 2 months ago? And so I'm like, well, I mean, let's keep it rolling to first stage, I guess. Like, well, I mean, why not? And go to first stage of Q School and shoot 71, 69, 69, 67 and finish 8th, and move on to second stage for only the second time in my entire 13-year pro career. And I'm like, holy cow. And then, which is like, insane. All the while, I knew that I had this PGA Tour invite on the horizon.
Yeah.
First ever PGA Tour event. Like, I knew my game is good, but at the same time, it's like, oh my, is my game ready? And like, what's going to happen? What happens if I shoot 78 and freak out? And like, what if I just shoot 90? What if I get lost out there in the wind one day? Like, all these thoughts that us golfers have.
Yeah.
And so that leads us into, last week. I guess we can kind of pick up the story there, but like,
I mean, just before we kind of jump into that, and just so maybe people understand, so this was a sponsor's invite into this event.
Yeah.
How does that work? Is it just like the tournament reaching out and then seeing if you're available, if you're interested?
So basically, like this whole story, the whole Bryan Bros, everything we're doing it really is a cool, exciting, like it almost feels like a fairy tale. Like all the stuff that we kind of dreamed up is kind of happening, and so it's almost like every week's like a pinch me kind of moment. But this whole thing was started with like Wesley on the PGA Tour. He's actual real golfer. Me still a pro golfer, but we have this brand, this content thing that we could package up to tournaments and like, hey, we can create videos. Like Wesley's is on the PGA Tour, so it's not like a stretch to give him an invite or if he's in the event. I'm a pro golfer. I don't know. It's not really tested or anything, but like we know we have a product that people are going to watch. So like Wesley and Joe were like, hey, let's go pitch this to like a tour event. Like, hey, we'll come and film videos. Nice. We'll do this. If you get a sponsor exemption to my brother, we can be in this thing together. And Bermuda, Javon, who Wesley has a relationship with, the assistant tournament director, was like, okay, let's do it. I think he saw the results in the Monday qualifier and then was like, okay, the guy, he can play. So like, let's roll the dice. Let's create some content. And let's blow this kind of Barfield Bermuda championship up and let's see what happens. And so yeah, they took a risk on, I mean, I think it's a risk. They took a risk on me to come over as a YouTuber to play in their event on a sponsor exemption. And so, yeah, so that's how it kind of dreamed up. We went over, created some content for them. And that was kind of, just to really shine light on the Butterfield Bermuda Championship, Bermuda as a whole, as a country, and kind of do, what you and myself do. We create content around things, engaging, fun stuff that people watch. And, that's kind of how it was dreamed up. And I think this went on for probably 2 or 3 months of like Wesley and Joe pitching, we talking. And then at our golf tournament, I'm giving the announcements, and Wesley was like, hey, we have actually one more thing. We have a gift for George. I'm like, oh, well, maybe got me a nice bottle of bourbon or some whiskey or some tequila. Cause like I actually put the whole event on. Wesley didn't do a dang thing.
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And then he was like, we just got George his first PGA. When he started saying that, I'm like, what? Like this is real. And then that's when like us golfers, the minds going like, oh my God.
Oh no. Oh my God. Oh, what have I done?
I know. It's like, I know we wanted this, but now like I actually gonna have to go key up on that first hole. So, it really has been. Yeah.
How first tee nerves start about a month before you're even on the first tee. Golf is literally the most crazy sport. But I didn't actually realize that, and this is like potentially something that we might see moving forward. A popular YouTube channel. Obviously, we have the situation where you're both very, very good golfers. Pitch into an event to say, give us an invite, and then we can shine a light on what's happening here. I think obviously with the Bermuda Championship, it's the Butterfield Bermuda Championship, to give it its full name, is a PGA Tour event, but it's in that time frame where a lot of the top 20 in the world generally probably won't play in it. So it gives you that little bit more of an opportunity. That's very interesting. I didn't realize that. So you got this invite. We've got the first tee nerves already started. You've gone over to Bermuda, done some pre-filming, bagged a hole in one, done all that stuff. So we get to tournament week. Okay, so we're in tournament week. You get off the plane, you get to the golf course. What is that initial feeling? Was it like, and I know we just spoke about the nerves, but did it feel? Yeah. Was it a case of like feeling like you didn't belong, that you felt like you were ready, that you felt like this was something which you felt capable of taking on? Like what was the feeling when you actually got to the event?
I think it was all the above. I mean, it really was like everything. Now, even to back it up, this whole thing is wild. You can't, and we'll talk about it more, but you can't make up how. It's almost like this whole thing was scripted, because we start, like you said, we start off the content with a hole in one, right? That I walk myself through, that like goes viral within golf, but also like everyone in Bermuda saw that video, and like when I got there, they're like, "Oh, the hole in one." It's like,
nice.
We're there as content creators to create content, and as me getting a sponsor exemption into a PGA Tour event, I want to give them the best content we've ever done. Like, I want them and everyone to be proud of what we did. And so to start it off with a freaking hole-in-one, you can't make that up. And then rolls into the YouTube video that, goes off and does really well. But that we knew that would. But anyway, the way that went down, it went into a playoff. It was crazy. And so, like, you literally can't make up the content side. So then we go to tournament week. We get to the tournament. And, like, honestly, the 2 Q School rounds that I played or tournaments, like, helped me, like, really believe that, hey, I can execute golf shots under extreme pressure. Like, I was nervous the entire 72 holes of first stage. Like, I felt uncomfortable most of the time, but I kept hitting shot after shot and pulling it off. And so, birdie my last 3 holes, get through. So somewhere deep down, I knew that I could execute under pressure and play well, even if I didn't feel well. But again, never been tested on the PGA Tour, so I believed it, but I didn't know it. And so, I'm getting there Monday. We got the practice rounds, and I felt comfortable, but at the same time, I'm there seeing tour players, and I'm like, are they judging? Like, I'm here with a camera guy, and as a YouTuber, and these guys are like, do this for a living. Like, I'm having fun and laughing, like, see all these guys being serious. And I'm like, oh boy, it's funny. Even so, Fred Biondi, 22-year-old, University of Florida national champion, one of the like young studs coming out. He's 22 years old. I'm playing a practice round with him, and I'm like kind of nervous, or like, what if he judges me if I hit this hook? If I hook this 5-iron left of the green? I'm like, George, this is a practice round with a guy that just finished college. Like, it's fine. Like, you don't have to be perfect or anyway. So that just tells you that, like, there was a level of comfort, but at the same time, a level of discomfort that was really didn't, like, I knew it was going to culminate to this wild, crazy, unknown feeling on Thursday morning or Thursday afternoon. But yeah, no, it was a good mix of like nerves, but also of like good prep, having fun, and just taking the whole weekend with Wesley. Mom and dad were there, my wife was there, and so like that was the big part of like that I knew, or whatever happened, I was going to have the most fun out of anyone in that field and enjoy and take in this like first ever PGA tournament of mine, but also get to experience it with my brother.
Amazing. I mean, I have to admit, it's been, I try and watch a fair bit of golf, but this was one of the only tournaments in the last few months, apart from like Ryder Cup and stuff, that I have made sure that I had time to like sit down to watch and to kind of hopefully see you make the cut. I was very frustrated by the first few days of coverage, I must admit, because you weren't shown all.
I know.
What's really annoying is that the actual coverage on social was great, like the social coverage, because everybody knew what was happening. So that was almost like your highlights and everything that was going on. It was like, okay, cool, this is happening, obviously with you and Wes together. The amount of like refreshing that we did on like the cut line and if you were going to make it, and when you finished that second round, and it, you finished that second round, was it 5 or 6 under you finished on? Was it 5
under?
And it was basically on the cut line, wasn't it? And I was just like, oh, for God's sake. Yeah. And I fully admit I was getting a little bit emotionally invested in it. And I was getting a touch nervous. So me and the missus went out, and I had to go to a pub. I was like, listen, can we just go out and relax?
Yeah,
I don't want to be sat here just refreshing to see if George actually makes it. And then when I saw like all the lads from the podcast and who working with me, they all like messaged into the group and said, "Oh, you made it," and you and Wes made it. So obviously, you shot like a 7 under, I think, to get back.
Yeah.
It was incredible. It was like a real moment of. I think you're right. The actual nerves of playing in an event like that and coming into it, yes, being a pro golfer, that ultimately, because of what you've been doing on YouTube, coming into that as a bit of an outsider. Like, it's not like the normal sponsored invites that they give away to like a young upcoming college player or like a pro that just wants a holiday for a week who's like a PGA Tour veteran or something. You're coming into this as someone who is not used to this environment as an outsider. And I was, again, this is why golf is like such a crazy sport. Like, I was feeling first tee nerves for you. I was like, oh my God, how must he feel? And to actually see you go out, shoot under par, and made the cut was brilliant. It was one of the highlights of the year for me, as far as like pro golf. It was brilliant.
That's amazing. That's the cool thing is like the what we do is what we like at Bryan Bros. Like we wanted to create, golf content, but we wanted to like build this community of golfers, of golf sickos, of people who want to just love golf. We don't want to see we don't want to just be like, okay, we're views, we're a number to them. We want to feel like this family. We want to bring our people on this journey and tell our story and all be this this weird, crazy group of golf people that just love golf, but that we're just like the vehicle to consume it. I don't know. And so and that's the people who, watch our stuff. But then like the family within, the YouTube golf world, you and, Rick and myself, the good guys, and everyone else that are part of this YouTube golf community. It's like we're all part of this big family. And so it's cool that like you and that everyone, the message I got from people within the community, that we're able to like enjoy it. And because that's what I want to be a good representative of YouTube golf. And like, I wanted to put on for all of us. And like, that's the cool thing is if, you insert anyone, if Grant plays in a tour event, or if Mike, like when Michael played in his event, like I'm invested in that. Like I want them to do well. And I'm feeling, maybe not nervous, but like I'm feeling what they're feeling as a competitor, because like we're all kind of in this thing together. And so it's cool to hear, your side of it, because that's kind of what I want. I want all of us to kind of be a part of a bigger thing that is YouTube golf.
I mean, if I'm going to be completely honest, George, I don't think you're representing the YouTube golf community well at all, because now people are going to think that the rest of us are actually all right.
You are. Come on, you're good.
It's gonna be a shock when people start watching. Yeah. It's like, I thought these guys were actually all right compared to George. No. See, that's the thing. Though I've just had the punching the table. Just had the simulator on. I've been practicing because of you.
See, let's go.
I mean, I think we can officially now put to bed that you are the best YouTube golfer. Although I think this summer we'll have to get together and have a proper match.
I know. Well, I mean, you did. Well, I mean, we're 1-1, so
this is
true.
That
you beat me up. You beat me on the home turf.
If you've not,
but it's fine.
If you've not watched those videos, by the way, me and George had a couple of matches. Spoiler alert: I won the first one, and you know what? I was feeling good. I was feeling confident. I was hitting it all right. And then something when you were filming your match, there was something, I don't know what it was. There was something in your swing that just like clicked. And I was like, right. Okay. He's actually a really good golfer here. And I was like, oh damn. And I didn't stand a chance. And to be honest, where does this put you now in your head? Because obviously when we spoke, I think it was like just at the end of last year, wasn't it? And we were kind of speaking about YouTube and exactly kind of what your direction was and like what you were thinking. And we were chatting about how becoming like a full-time YouTuber, exactly what that is. And since that point you've absolutely smashed it. But with like the last few months and with this event, what's your headspace at? Are you thinking, well, do I need to play more events? Do I carry on like doing effectively what is full-time YouTube? Like where are you at right now? Because I'm not sure like what I'd be thinking if I was in your position.
No, that's a good question. It's one that I'm sure as an outsider or people that consume like, Chase, give stop doing YouTube videos and just chase full time or play. I'm like, no, I don't want. Like, I have no desire unless I get one of those top 5. No, I'm never going to stop YouTube golf because I enjoy it too much. I really do enjoy creating videos and telling our story. Wesley is full time. I mean, he's at this point he's full time YouTuber, but he actually playing full time PGA Tour golf. Me, like I want to play when it's convenient. Up until the last couple of weeks when I started this Q School thing and now the PGA Tour event, but it's very interesting because I think what these last or 2 Q Schools and this now PGA Tour Cup made has done is it's affirmed that I am really good at golf, and that even though I didn't believe it the last few years, but now I'm like I'm kind of seeing how good I can be when I actually believe in what I'm doing for the first time in a long time. But I don't have a desire to chase to play every week on the PGA Tour. Like I saw a lot of those guys, and I'm sure a lot of them had a lot of fun, but some of them just they look maybe miserable. They just like was there wasn't any joy. You could see that not a whole lot of joy in what they were doing. And me, I'm out there like having the time of my life, and I want. But again, because that's what I'm creating videos. Like I'm doing what I'm enjoying, like telling our story, creating fun stuff. But yeah, you like the foreseeable future. My guess would be kind of the same thing. If I get Corn Ferry Tour card or PGA Tour card, we're going to ramp up the production, probably hire another guy, and just film every week, and just keep putting out content. Because again, it's the reason I'm playing so well is I have this balance in my life. Whereas the first 10 year or I'd say like 3 or 5 years of me chasing pro golf, I just only did golf and very inconsistent and honestly not very good, like compared to what I thought it was going to be coming out of college. And now we have this thing where I don't have my full focus on golf. I don't put all my stock in like practicing and oh man, I practice 8 hours today. I have more fun on the course, and these expectations are not as high as they used to be because I make YouTube videos, and that's like at the end, if I have a miscut, if I play bad golf, that's fine. Like I can go and film videos and have fun doing that. So it's a good balance that allows me to play at my best because I'm playing free, loose. For the most part, I'm still really nervous, but like, yeah, it's just this different aspect that comes along that YouTube has given me. It's hard to explain. So like, there will never be a time that I just say, hey, you know what, YouTube, sorry guys, I have to chase my goal and dream of playing on the PGA Tour full time. We're not filming again. No, it'd be like if I get status, we're filming more.
I mean, it's crazy, isn't it? Because I think you've answered the question in some respects. It's one of the questions that's floated around kind of social media space, really. If you can do YouTube as a job and still actually play at high standard on professional level. And like I said, whatever you've done, whatever the combination is of like filming to practice to attitude to comps and all the rest of it and mindset, it's obviously worked. So why would you change? And it's an amazing ability that you're going to have to kind of document that journey as well. Like no one else.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, what were you? When you were playing in Bermuda, did you ever like turn around to the camera and start commentating your shots?
Oh, absolutely. I think after the first hole. So I guess we'll start with we're teeing off on the first hole. I'm like, oh my God, it's happening. Like it's like, well, here it goes. So I'm in my routine, but I was like, hey, just do what you've been doing. Go through your routine. You're gonna be nervous. You're gonna be uncomfortable. It's fine. Whatever. And so the normal nerves were going on. But one of the PGA Tour film guys is over there getting the announcer, but then he runs in behind me as I'm kind of starting my routine to get the shot. But I'm like, hey, you're good. Like, you're fine. They're like talking to him like, I film YouTube videos like this. You're good. And so like that kind of like calmed me down to respect that. I felt, okay, it's kind of funny that he's like literally sprinting in to get behind me. But then, I'm walking into I'm like behind the ball doing this, like push my glasses up. I'm like, all right, it's going. I start walking in, and it's a different type of nerves than I've ever felt. It almost felt like I was floating, like everything slowed down. / I was looking at myself from like a third person point of view. It was like
amazing.
I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, this isn't good. But like, all you can do is just take it back slow and just rip it, and like whatever happens. And like, soon as I made contact and look up and see it flying straight, it was like I melted. I'm like, oh my God, like thank you.
Amazing.
But it was weird. Yeah, it really was like I felt a lot of nerves. I feel I get nervous every turn I'm playing, but this one was a different type of like, I've never felt it, and it was really cool to text you. But then, get down there, hit a good wet shot at 25 feet, and make it for birdie. And I'm like, you can't. Of course, my first ever tour event, I'll make a birdie on the first hole. And I think I went to the camera after that, or even after the second hole. I birdied my second hole, and I started talking about, I was like, man, how will that start? I mean, first ever hole, first birdie, I guess. Welcome to the tour. So throughout the round, like where the camera, like, I did do a good point of like locking in and focusing, but at the same time, going over and talking to the cameraman Carney, talking to my wife, just like keeping it relaxed. But there were moments, and then Wesley comes back out and has his like the PGA Tour camera crew at different points. So it was like cool because I felt at home filming a YouTube video.
Yeah.
So I was able to take my mind off like the situation, and then I don't know. It's a good. So it really is a good balance for me personally to like have that thing I can turn my mind off of, you know, of the actual serious golf.
That's crazy. I mean, it's great to obviously when you're playing in these events and you have that onslaught of like nerves and adrenaline to be able to actually channel that and play good golf. It's the best feeling because I know because anybody watching this who's like played sport, even a medium level, will know that when those nerves crash in, it could go either way. Like you can have a nightmare as just as easily as have a great round, but to be able to funnel and channel them in the right ways is brilliant. And then obviously on that, is it the second round where you started pitching in from everywhere? It wasn't it? I was thinking that. That's the third round.
Yeah, second round we made some eagles and made some birdies to make the cut. But third round was the chip ins from everywhere.
Because that's when the highlight reel started to really jump in. Yeah, that was brilliant. Yeah, that was so good.
Yeah,
and that's magic, absolute magic. Well, mate, I mean, the actual whole event is now kind of like, you know, it's there. I'm sure you'll be making the videos about it and kind of like releasing that content so everybody can see.
Hey, coming out tomorrow, Thursday. So when people are watching.
Oh, it'll be out. Perfect. Make sure you head over and check that out. I mean, have we got any more? When's your next kind of pro event then? What's the future?
I hope. I mean, honestly, it's my main job is creating content, doing social media, that thing, and I just happen to play this pro stuff on the side. And so, like, as the content creator, this whole week, I'm just like looking at the engagement, looking at the numbers and the comment sections of all the tours, socials, and everyone else, and it's just like, holy cow, like what we thought would happen. We knew our people would love this, me playing the event and show up, but like the support that I saw, that me and Wesley saw and them being loud and vocal socially, and then the numbers to prove, like, you know, I think there's like 3 or 4 posts on tours socials. They got over 2 million views, and like some of the views, I mean, all of our stuff was the most viewed content all week, and not even just viewed, but liked and engagement, like stuff that you show to other people, other tournaments, are like, hey, this is like what we can do. And so I was like, man, this is amazing. Like, A, I felt the support and it helps me get through the week, but B is like a product we can hopefully show this to other tournament directors, like, hey, like, I'm not guaranteed to make it cut every week, but like when our people are interested in what we got going on, and like it can help your tournament. So that's cool that we were able to deliver a product that hopefully other tournaments would want to follow suit and have me be involved, because as a competitor, I want to go out there and play again. But also create like again, the week, you can't make up the week and all the stuff that happened from, you know, what me and Wesley, you know, I'm making an eagle and 3 birdies coming down the stretch to make the cut on the number. Wesley shooting 7 under to make the cut on the number. We're tied going into the weekend. Going into my first Saturday, you know, have some crazy, I mean, have a viral chip in after kind of like having not an off day, but just, you know, wasn't my best, but then making eagle and set my 16th hole today to shoot 2 under in the 60s again. That clip goes viral. And little things that you literally couldn't script. Like, as far as, you know, our job is to create good content, or at least attempt to. And yeah, it's wild to, like, after you get done with the week, to look at it through like, holy cow, like how do, like, these things actually happen? But then you can look at it through a different lens of, like, you know, the personal side where, you know, I'm standing there on my 18th hole of the day, you know, going through my routine, and my target is literally right above Wesley's head because he was finishing out on number 9. And so I'm like, holy cow, like I am picking a target that's basically my brother in a tour event on a Saturday. You know, it's like, you know, 35 years we both dreamed of playing on the PGA Tour, and here I am actually doing it, but also looking at my brother competing in the same tournament. It was like these cool little moments, like that you can just, that you're not gonna be able to take away from me, and that I'll be forever grateful for. And so, you know, there's a lot of aspects that made literally this week the most wild, crazy socially, but also personally, but then professionally. And so, yeah, I don't know if I'll ever really be able to fully grasp like what this week really meant to me.
Amazing. No, George, honestly, man, I'm so happy for you, man. Really, really well done.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm looking forward to watching those videos now. And yeah, we'll get together in Super. I'll have to come over there and play. Your other side project of owning a golf club and redoing that.
Oh yeah,
it's just,
exactly. I keep forgetting about that. Yeah, we got.
Yeah, just a little thing. Just this little thing called a golf course that you bought and are renovating and are going to be opening. I mean, why would that not be a full-time thing?
Totally forgot about that. I'm not even kidding. It's been like that. That's one thing. So looking back to that, that's our goal, is to have, the use the word, anyone that creates content come there to be able to play, experience it, but also like be like a content hub, hopefully for people down the line, that, because of course it's gonna be really good, but the whole vibe, and like, as it's tough to find courses some courses aren't on board, some are a little bit more tricky, but we want to have a place that welcomes everyone who films and creates golf content. They can have this place, use it as their own, and feel welcome. But yeah, so that would be amazing. Hopefully get you over here.
100%, yeah.
Whenever you're over in the States, and get to experience it for yourself.
Amazing. That's fantastic. George, thank you so much for jumping on, mate. Really, really appreciate it. If you've not checked out the Bryan Bros, not checked out YouTube and all the social medias, make sure that you do that now. And yes, I'll be watching the tournament vlog.
Yeah, thanks for texting. I'm glad to was able to come on and hang out. Watch a lot of your videos, so appreciate it.
Cool. Awesome, mate.
All right, CP.
Wow. Okay, George. Yeah, huge thank you for joining us. Brilliant conversation, and just the annoying. Like he's.
Yeah, I was going to say, is there anyone nicer in the entire world?
How does he get through the day?
Honestly, I don't know how he gets away with it.
His Venn diagram is very weirdly skewed towards good things.
Yeah, his Venn diagram is just a shape of a heart.
What's a Venn diagram?
It's
it was actually invented by a man called John Venn.
Was it John Venn? Is it?
Who named it after himself?
Yeah,
it's like that.
You'd have seen him.
Oh yeah,
in the middle, for demonstrative purposes.
We'll draw one on the podcast.
That looks a little bit interesting, but okay.
X in them. So, I mean, a few takeaways there. I mean, great guy, and just I'm really happy that it happened to him.
Yeah.
Like that's something to say. It's not often that the nice guys come out on top and actually do something. I mean, I was going to say nice guys don't always win. Obviously, he didn't win, but for him to make the cut at his first PGA Tour event, with all the pressure around him, like he said, like going into that event, all the players there, even though they're in their own little bubble, they'll know he's there through kind of like a YouTube invite.
Yeah.
He's a YouTuber playing in a professional golf.
And I'm sure there'd have been plenty of players there that were kind of looking at him thinking, why are you here? Like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
And feeling that pressure as well of like not having to show the world, because he's putting this out on the internet, but then also showing the golf industry, the golf space, the players, actually, I deserve to be here. Yeah. And making that cut would have been amazing. Yeah. Amazing for him.
A bit of required to prove himself a little bit.
And just massive for YouTube golf, like at the end of the day. Massive.
Yeah.
Like, it's like,
like I say, it's so interesting to hear about the fact how he got invited. And actually, as we teed up the interview, like what you were saying, that what this could mean for YouTube and the PGA Tour and playing and stuff, like there's ways that this could go.
So it all depends how the powers that be, the almighty tour gods, actually take this. Because realistically, the Butterfield Bermuda Championship is in a weird point of the season. It's kind of a real mix of players in there.
It's the fifth major, yeah.
I mean, it is definitely the biggest golf event in Bermuda. I can't deny that.
Well, in November.
But it's got like that thing of, if the PGA Tour see this and say, right, okay, so we've had this much interaction on social media, which is pretty much entirely driven through the Bryan Bros. I know Camille Villegas got some really good press. So happy for him to actually win this event as well.
Yeah,
he's gone through absolutely.
Yeah, that guy's putting lineup is wild.
Oh yeah, he's good. He labs it up, doesn't he? Yeah. But I'm so happy for everything that's happened for him the last few years to actually win. But the Bryan Bros really did drive most of the social interaction. Then the views that they're going to get off their own socials and the views that they're going to get pre and post event with the videos they put out, that is going to get more attention than the entire event combined.
Yeah.
Like we're lucky enough to be within the industry, so we kind of know what happens with viewing figures.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing is you can't really measure too much of his retention. So if you sat down to watch a golf tournament,
They should have like how many people got up, like they put on some golfer that not very many of people are enamored with. Like how many people got up to go and make a cup of tea?
Well, you
Do you know
stick
what I
a
mean?
camera on every
you
TV in the world.
You can't get those. You can't get those because on YouTube, if you click off it, it
You
says a thing that you've clicked off it, but you can't get that when it's on TV.
but like with an event like this, I mean, if we sat down to watch a golf tournament, generally you sit there and you're there for 3-4 hours. Like if you commit the time to it, so you can't really understand what that is like on a golf tournament realistically. But if you look at it from just an eyeballs views perspective, what the Bryan Bros have done, aside from the event, will have more views, will have more eyeballs than that entire event.
Yeah, I think there was it was Liv's first event, but the Liv's first live stream, we had videos on Swing Quest that got more views than the Liv initial live stream, which is wild because there's people like Brooks Koepka and big people in the game who are playing in that tournament and no one's watching it.
Yeah.
No.
And obviously it's not quite as extreme as the PGA Tour. Like PGA Tour will have more viewership, but it is wild how many people watch YouTube compared to how many people watch it on TV.
And I asked myself, like, if he wasn't there, would I be watching the Butterfield Bermuda Championship? And it's a no.
Yeah,
So, like,
it's very true.
I know, literally.
I don't think that was a long conversation, was it? I was like, no, I wouldn't.
I think we'll find Alex Noren was on top of the leaderboard after day one, so that's what piqued my interest.
Oh,
True,
right.
yeah.
That's why I was watching it.
What did you watch? Like, how much did you watch of it?
On the first day, I watched a lot of it, and boy, oh boy, was I not impressed.
Yeah.
When
That's the first time I've seen it with not impressed.
when George and Wes weren't shown at all. It
really?
felt a bit spiteful.
I
if
think
I'm being honest with you.
I think I probably sat down to watch it and I was like, "Ooh, can't wait to see." And then there just wasn't any, and I was like, "What?" You know the people that everyone has sat down to watch this broadcast.
Yeah.
They're the people that we want to see. You're just not.
They needed a red
They're
button,
just not.
didn't
They
they?
needed the Bryan Bros.
They needed
button.
Bryan Bros button.
Yeah, they did.
It's just a picture of their faces.
I would love to know how many people will more watch that because of the fact that them two were playing.
Yeah, that's what I
or even
mean.
George
Yeah,
was
yeah.
playing.
Yeah, and
And then they get put in the same group as well.
no,
they didn't.
So this, I think, honestly, I don't know this. This is absolute pure speculation, in my opinion. Do not quote me on this.
And clip now.
I do get the feeling that there's that I don't understand why they weren't paired together in the first two rounds. There's absolutely no reason for them not to be paired together unless someone. I'm not going to say spiteful, but I'm going to say it is a complete own goal to not put them together. There must have been the conversation, and there must have been a reason why, and that reason why makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah, I think my dad worked on the European tour doing the broadcast for a very long time, and it's tricky to work out who has control, because you said to me something that I didn't know, is that the people who are putting on the event can decide who goes in what group to start for the first two rounds, and then obviously it goes in in order, which is fine. But that's a big oversight by the organisers of the tournament not to have them in the same group. But even worse than that, the director, whoever's running the broadcast, needs to put cameras out on the players who everyone wants to see. If Tiger was playing in the Masters and they had no cameras on him, everyone would go nuts. So we've got to work out whose job it was to show them and then didn't do it, and that's the person we should be directing our hate towards.
I think that's what Pete's trying to say, is that there must have been something behind closed doors that kind of just is.
They're like, yes, you can come and play on our tournament, but we're not going to show you on TV.
It doesn't make sense. But I mean, like I said, the big takeaway, however, for me is just the way that they got into this event. So the way that it was packaged as we can give you this exposure in return for this invite.
I love that. I love that two guys from the middle of America were just like, PGA Tour, global conglomerate company, we can help you out.
Really fascinating.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure they went through Butterfield, so they went through with the sponsors invite. But there are stipulations attached to that. Like you can't just invite a random 15 handicapper, say. Which is sorry. But
He wants to play in the Open next year.
Great video.
So they had to get something together like that, and I know contacts and who you know is so important. But it does kind of raise that question of this won't be the first time it happens, especially in these kind of events. George stepped up, big time.
Yeah.
The question is really, if this happens again, who else would be able to? In the interview, we chatted about first tee nerves, and let's say honestly, like, let's say I got an invite to this event. I had a shot at this moment in time, like 88, 92.
On the front.
Yeah, and then it turned into sort of like, it kind of turns into like damaging your kind of reputation of it, if you know what I mean. Like,
tell
so
you what,
you have to be sort of.
You definitely would have got cameras on you if you went out and shot 92.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, look at this YouTuber who's just falling apart on the back nine.
Bit of Morris Flitcroft.
That'd have been the point where I saw him coming. I'd be like, I'm out, lads.
Yeah.
I'm out.
But look, 15 clubs in my back. Oh, so sorry.
While I'm here now, I'm just trying to think of like any other sort of like any tour events that kind of need that that are lower down. We obviously got sort of like the players, the sort of those big PGA Tour
they'll probably
events.
be okay.
They're fine. They don't need that. But I'm thinking of like any of these lower, like one of these, like a Bermuda, sort of these lower ones that could do with this sort of like exposure. Do you know what I mean?
I think PGA Tour event. I think the PGA Tour is one thing because it's a massive, multi-layered onion, which is so hard to penetrate at times. Like, we've tried to do work with the PGA Tour before, and to negotiate your way through what I could only describe as tranches of middle management is so hard.
They seem very behind on things.
Also full of people trying to justify their job by making decisions.
So in the PGA Tour's defense, and you got to kind of have both sides. PGA Tour has a product which they mainly sell to like the TV companies, and that's why they're so protective of like footage of rights and all the rest of it. It's fine. I don't personally agree with it. I think it's a little bit backward facing, but I understand it. However, as we will get into this, the DP World Tour going into next year, I mean, are they going to need a little bit of like?
I was just going to say DP World.
Like
Peter Finch signs with DP World,
like the Kazoo Open at Hillside. Imagine that. Exactly that.
We could get in touch with Kazoo.
This is what I mean. Get in touch.
You just
with
touched my
Kazoo.
leg under the table. I think you did. Was it because I said Kazoo? That's your safe word.
Yeah, get in touch with Kazoo and be like, we can offer you this. We can, it might inspire not only us but like other people. Like, imagine like if Good could get involved in this, like a Luke Corner, Brad Donkey.
The fact that the door has been broken down is
Exactly.
very
That's all it needs is one person, isn't it? And then
the first person to step through.
And they could probably come at PGA Tour or some of these sponsors and be like, we literally get more impressions than the PGA Tour each month. Do you know what I mean? Like they don't have the power, but they feel like they have such a stepping stone that would be hard to turn down.
It's tricky because obviously it is very easy for us to get excited about this, and it's a little bit self-serving. Like, we can be, oh my, this is amazing, this is the biggest thing. But within a year, YouTube golf used to be a thing. Oh, do you watch golf on YouTube? Oh yeah, I watch a bit of it. YouTube golf is now this whole thing. It's an entity. Mm-hmm. Like, it is a real powerhouse within golf. Like, there are so many people now who don't watch tour golf. Like, they would rather watch people on YouTube, which is, for me, it's I understand it, but it's still crazy to me. When I grew up, it was like, you watch the tour, watch the best players in the world. That's your golf entertainment.
Yeah, in black and white.
In black and white, yeah. God, when they moved to steel shafts was a disgrace. But now it's a completely different environment, and it's exciting to be in that kind of mix with all these people.
Yeah, it feels like you kind of you got in the door when the door was open, and now now everyone wants to do the thing that we do every day. There's every week in my recommended on YouTube, I get like this brand new channel, this brand new channel, this brand new channel, because they've seen that there is a kind of a whole new market. But congratulations to you on being there before before it was cool. Do you know what I mean? Like, now everyone wants it because there's a part.
What do you mean? Pete, you made it cool.
You made it cool. But like, do you know what I mean? Like, you got in the door, and like people like you and Rick and the guys who were there early, who have been doing it for a long time now. You've like set out your kind of your store, and you're like, this is what we do. We make great content. And now the bigger companies who are just getting word that the YouTube space is massive suddenly need people to go to promote things. So we're in a very fortuitous position.
I mean, best way of describing it is, I think there's people like, say, Me and My Golf, Mark Crossfield, who were at it really early. Like, they got it early. Like, they moved onto a patch of land, kind of build the foundations.
God, I love analogies.
Me, Rick, a few others kind of came in, and we started like building the walls.
Oh, okay.
As it progressed, we all managed to get a roof on, and it's looking pretty good.
Yeah.
And then recently, like Good have come in board.
They
And
opened up a retail store.
they've basically developed the neighbourhood.
They franchised it.
Yeah. They built a supermarket. They've got a leisure centre in there.
They built that like opposing skyscraper on the other side of the road that we originally
They've got an 18-hole putt-putt.
And now we've got this whole thing where, like the developers across town are looking at what's happening here. Said this is actually quite good.
Yeah.
People, why are so many people moving here?
Yeah. All those thatched houses that people were living in, and now all these new builds are popping up. And they're like,
and what's worse is that people are trying to get into town, and we're gatekeeping it.
it's a gated community.
Don't try and start a new channel.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
But if you want to kind of come into town, I'll be the old guy in the pub.
You've got your own seat.
I've got my own chair.
Sorry, mate. You can't sit there. That's Finch's seat.
It's a don't ring that bell.
Yeah.
It's a bit cracked, a bit red leather chair. It's got a really nice footstool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's good.
You want to get to the point where you walk into the pub and they just start pouring your drink before
it's already there. It's just waiting for you.
They know you're coming
they
in.
know come at 6 o'clock.
Yeah. That's Finch's. Out of that seat. But it's only 4 o'clock. He's not going to be here for 2 hours. What if he turns up early? Get out.
You don't know.
Naff off.
The reserve side is just glued to the table. They can't even take it off there.
Yeah. We have that in the village.
Of course you do.
We actually do. Like as soon as Big JK, he doesn't mind who sits in, but as soon as he comes in, I'm like,
get out.
Yeah, you've got to get out of his
seat. And then we're out of his
That's
seat.
That's nice that he lets you stay there, though.
Yeah,
keep it warm for him. That's basically he's getting it ready.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Love it.
What's his name? Big JK.
Big JK. Well, John
Big
Kingston.
JK.
Yeah, Big John Kingston. Yeah. Because there's little John Kingston, Big John Kingston.
Medium.
It's so good.
It's like a Russian doll of John Kingston. The small one comes out of the big one.
Oh, so village.
This has literally.
I love that.
This has literally collapsed into.
Yeah.
Speaking of collapse,
Oh, mate, that
was
is-
good. That was
That
good.
was good.
That is the best segue you've ever done on the 50th episode. Please carry
Complete the segue. But
speaking of collapsed, did you see that the TGL Stadium roof fell in?
collapsed, yeah. Well, they had to deflate it, which was the
Which means that it's inflated in the first place.
yeah.
I mean, I can see a few problems here.
Yeah.
It's a
what
real
if,
issue.
What if someone has a pin?
Someone from Liv just comes with it.
in a state that
Man, you get me.
in a state that notoriously has a lot of bad weather every now and then, to have something that's sort of
Why do Americans keep building things in the area of the country they know tornadoes exist?
when the winds get up a bit.
So I'm gonna actually throw this out there. I learned a bit about Florida weather.
Okay, here we go.
Actual tornadoes and stuff don't affect that area too much.
Yes,
Hurricanes,
I do remember
they
this.
go around or they go up, and they kind of like miss that little bit of coast.
Did the rich people pay for that?
Yes.
Yeah.
They said big fan. A massive fan they just turned on, blow it out. But just to kind of put this in context, so the TGL league, which is, I think, the first kind of pilot show, proper show, is going to be 30th
30th
of December.
On Tiger's birthday.
On Tiger's birthday, obviously. Why not?
They bring
National
out a
Tiger
big
Day.
cake and it's going to be great.
If he doesn't win, that's a travesty.
And they're building
He's gonna win. He's
they're
gonna
building a stadium in West Palm Beach. And West Palm Beach? Palm Beach?
Just West Palm, isn't it?
West Palm.
In the area of West Palm.
In the area of West Palm. The venue is a 2,000-seater stadium, and it's to spectate the golf that's going on there. Hitting into a massive simulator screen, which actually looks quite cool. I'm going to roll back on some of my previous statements. It actually looks really good.
Thank you.
And then a short game complex area.
Which also looks very cool.
Yeah. However, it's obviously like a roofed stadium. And I think by the looks of it, it's like the kind of soccer team, football team training areas that they have, like a big inflated dome.
Yeah.
So it's one of those. The statement from TGS side, an overnight failure of the temporary power system used during the construction phase caused partial deflation and limited damage to the air-supported dome section of the site. The dome section has been further deflated by our crew and will remain down while they work to remedy the situation. There were no injuries and no technology was impacted. Now, the failure of the temporary power system and the partial deflation, I've seen pictures.
That doesn't look like a
It's not
failure.
partial.
If that is a partial deflation, then this dome is about 44 miles across because that was a full-on takedown.
There's bits of metal sticking out.
It doesn't look good. And obviously this is going to delay everything. Like, there's no way that this event, I don't think, is going to take place on the 30th. If it does, incredible. But I think it's already been mooted that it will have to be delayed.
I feel like, sorry, you go. I was going to say something.
No, you go first.
I was going to say, this is where you need like Nick Knowles to come in and get like a home DIY.
My joke was even worse. I was going to say it looked like at the end of Godzilla when they blow up Madison Square Garden.
Mine was just that it was like a bouncy castle that had been deflated.
So we'll take yours. Yours is third. I came second. Kieran was the winner.
And I've got a football training field being deflated. So, and by the way,
Knowles is such a niche reference. I know exactly what you mean.
You just need Nick Knowles
I'm just trying to think of what the
Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen.
It's
Ty Pennington for all American listeners.
Oh, is that who does it?
He did a program and it was like they knocked down people's houses and built them like
Extreme Makeover Home Edition.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
Extreme Makeover.
It's the same. It's DIY SOS.
That was
it's
Knowles,
the same.
yeah.
It's the same show in the States. They've got another one of those.
Oh, have they? Oh,
yeah,
Is it Nick Knowles as well, or is it like a...
surprisingly, Nick Knowles does not go over to Colorado.
And for all you old people, it's the indoor ground force.
Anyway,
never heard of it.
So yeah, they need Nick Knowles to go over and fix it.
They do, with his team.
Unbelievable. So that's a bit of a surprise.
On this podcast.
Hopefully they will manage to figure this out. Obviously, one of the driving forces behind this, the TGL, along with Tiger, is Rory McIlroy. And Rory McIlroy has been in the news this week so much. It is like a rainstorm smashing a window. Like, we just can't get away from the man.
Yeah.
This week, we're recording this prior to the race to Dubai kind of concluding.
It already is.
He's already won the race to Dubai, which we'll get onto in a minute. Not entirely sure about that and what's happening to DP World, but he's already won that, so congratulations. But he's also stepped down from the PGA Tour's policy board. Now, that is a representation of the players to set policy within the PGA Tour. Now, he's been a part of this for a couple of years, and as everybody knows who follows golf, he's been very vocal about his thoughts about what is happening to the PGA Tour. And he's been incredibly supportive of the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
Some will say too supportive, some would say he's been focused so much on that, it's detracted from his game.
Well,
I would be one of those people.
Yeah, he's just loyal, isn't he, as well? Like, he's been very
Too loyal.
Yeah, too loyal.
Now, we love a bit of loyalty.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a loyalty, but also there's a sense here that he probably feels a bit betrayed.
Oh, for sure.
Oh God, yeah.
what's happening.
Nothing from his side, I don't think.
I think he's going to live.
That call that he would have received from Jay Monahan after the fact of him slating Piff and, you know, Saudi's influence in the live golf, and then the fact he's got to pick up a phone on a Monday morning, just woken up.
Can you imagine how that phone call went? Rosa. Thanks so much, by the way.
Yeah, you're doing a great job for me.
Having our backs for the last
being the scapegoat.
year and a half, and for, you know, taking all that flack and losing tournaments on purpose so you could focus on your press things that you had to do after tournaments. You know, the company that we said we hated, the investment fund, they're our best friend now.
They got buddy. So,
we need their guap.
Yeah, we need you to apply the handbrake, spin round, and come back to us.
If you could just retract all of those statements you made about how we weren't going to take investment from Saudi.
It's
we
so
are.
It's so weird because, like, this week, and one of the reasons why he's, I think, stepped down is for the last 2 years he's been such a vocal supporter of the PGA. Basically, PGA Tour against Live. Live looks like it's going to be carrying on, but the Public Investment Fund, which is the backer of Live, is now wanting to invest money and effectively buy up a big stake of the PGA Tour. That framework is in danger of collapsing. So this week they've been in meetings to try and figure out how to make it happen. And Rory McIlroy, and like it was a big part of supporting the PGA Tour, has not been part of these discussions.
Right.
And he's like arguably still the future of the tour. Like, he, along with a few other players, is the biggest draw in golf. And after all this time, he's been frozen out. So I'm pretty sure he's just said, you know what, I'm going to step down. I don't want any part of this. I'm just going to turn up to these events. I'm going to play my golf. I'm going to try and win as much as possible. And I'm going to stay out of it.
Now, it might be detrimental to not have a big voice defending and, you know, advocating for the PGA Tour. However, I think this is going to do great things for Rory's ability to win next year.
So do I.
I think if he goes full 2015, 16, 17, he could win all 4 majors next year. Now he doesn't have to do any of that nonsense.
Are we talking like let's get the tailor in? Let's get some jacket measurements.
100%. He might need 3 or 4 jackets.
Okay.
Doesn't make any sense, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
He's going to need 3 or 4 jackets next year. He's going to win the Masters by so much that they're just going to crown him.
They were like, listen, you won by 92 shots. No one could beat that next year either. So
I just hope
that
one.
Yeah, I just hope now, like after obviously he's got the week in Dubai. So he's obviously won the race to Dubai. Hasn't he?
Yeah, done.
Yeah.
Like he's just got the
prize pool, the,
prize.
money.
Yeah.
He was
So
number one.
What's everyone playing for this week?
Just the
Oh, no, it's already
tournament.
happened.
So you win the basically the tournament, which is a huge paying tournament for the DP World Tour.
Right.
But the race to Dubai, which is the Order of Merit.
Yeah,
which
it's
is what
It's that big staff, isn't
Yeah,
it?
staff, yeah.
It's so cool. You feel
Um,
like you got the Tesseract or something.
Yeah, but just after that, I just hope he just goes away and just relaxes. just for a,
you to take
It's
the wizard staff.
It's been such a-
draw you, Rory, like poison is drawn from a wound.
What is that, J Mono? pointing the stab at him.
by the way, these guys just did a Lord of the Rings marathon
Yeah,
on
we did.
Saturday.
Yeah, so
they're,
we sat down at 8:50 and put in the extended edition Fellowship of the Ring and watched all 3 extended edition films back to back to back to back to back.
Yep.
unbelievable.
It was so good.
But,
How was your Saturday?
but yeah, so
I was watching the Butterfield Bermuda Championship, to be honest with you.
But yeah, I just hope he goes away, just relaxes, just takes a bit,
Yeah.
just a bit of time. Because like the last year and a half, 2 years, he's just been full on, and he needs to just chill with his family.
And now that he's already won his tournament, doesn't even have to concentrate.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
It's been a strange year, obviously, because I mean, you always judge Rory because he himself judges himself by this on the majors, and he's not won a major again this year. He has won, and the reason that he's won the kind of Order of Merit in Europe, well, DP World, can we just call like the European? Can I just call it European Tour?
No, because it's not called that.
I just European Tour.
European Tour.
The DP World Tour.
I like so much better European Tour.
Well, yeah, it's
It's
very
the DP
old.
World.
Not called that. I'm sure DP World paid lots of money for you to call it the
Oh,
DP
they
World
did.
Tour.
When you go on the website, it says European Tour.
It's still European Tour.
Yeah,
like-
Sponsored by
like-
DP World.
Just like it says X. When you go on X, it
that's-
says twitter.com. Still call it Twitter.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
When you go on Twitter.
I know
Ah,
social media.
What I really want to know, I'd love to know the guy who has www.x.com because
Yes.
he is just waiting for the phone
Yeah, it's
call of
like-
Elon
I
Musk.
can
isn't he?
imagine
Sounds
kind
like-
of what it's. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds a bit dodgy.
Yeah,
That.
you can kind of probably imagine what it is.
It's like the guy who bought he bought CR7 number plate before Ronaldo was big at United, and he bought it for like 80 grand or something, and Ronaldo bought it off him for 180.
It's the
Really?
Live Golf one as well. There's there's like a 10-year-old girl who had Live Golf as her like Instagram account. And
Yeah.
they couldn't get it.
That's so sick.
Love
I'll
it.
That's
have
why it's
£1
called-
billion, please.
That's why it's called Live Golf League.
Yeah.
Or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
With an underscore.
Yeah.
Literally,
Real live golf.
Terrible.
a 10-year-old girl like basically forged the
So
future of Live
good.
Golf.
Absolutely trolled them.
So with Rory, he's won the Genesis Scottish Open this year. Great win, that one. And he won Dubai Desert Classic kind of earlier. So he won 2 events on the tour this year. They're both Rolex events, which on DP World Tour means higher paying. And his performances in the majors. However, he played at Wentworth, but it's kind of like you've got the winner of the year-long Order of Merit on the DP World Tour, having played very, very few events on the tour.
The Scottish Open was the big one for him, wasn't it?
Yeah. And it feels a bit like at the moment in time, it just feels so desperate for the DP World Tour. They did a post last week as well, the DP World Tour social teams, which by the way do an unreal job. But they've just signed this deal with the PGA Tour, where the top players from the from the DP World Tour, if they get a high enough ranking, they automatically get PGA Tour cards going into next year. Simply put, the best players on the DP World Tour get a chance to go to play on the PGA Tour. So leave the DP World Tour. They'll come back and play, but leave that.
They'll
tour.
do like Rory-esque stuff. They'll come and play every now and then.
And then the players in the PGA Tour that don't finish high up, I can't remember the exact numbers, but it's like 100 down, say. They get exemptions to come play DP World Tour. So DP World Tour is getting rid not getting rid, because these players will be playing PGA Tour anyway, but they're giving these players away, saying, okay, guys, you really well done, go play the PGA Tour. They're getting the lesser known, lesser well performing players from the PGA Tour, if they want to come play DP World Tour. So it's like a talent swap.
Yeah, you have it's like promotion.
It's
and
good for bad though.
Yeah,
it's not like
it's like the getting promoted from the Championship to the Premier League, and then someone having to be demoted in order to fill that gap.
Yeah, and it's such a weird thing. And this kind of tweet that they put said Nikolai Højgaard was ranked 34th in the Race to Dubai rankings before finished second at Africa's major, so Sun City, which means he's now in line to receive a PGA Tour card. And look what it means to him. And then the video is him holding a putt and fist pump him. So this is the DP World Tour, a tour.
Who are saying
promoting the
bye?
Yeah.
So I say, oh my God! Oh, look how much it means to him. He's so excited to leave us.
Yeah,
it's such a weird narrative.
Well done.
I mean, this was something that we knew would happen. Like as soon as the Højgaard guys got on tour, like they were destined to go to the PGA Tour at some point. But the fact that they are championing this fact that they are now leaving what they have sort of established their careers on and done so much of their career and winning on, that they're now like sort of see you later, goodbye.
Honestly,
like,
it's just so weird.
See you for the Scottish and the Open.
It's so infuriating. I mean, as I mentioned in this, I used to grow up watching the European Tour as it was then. And that's where my heroes played. Yeah, that's where I love to watch them. And it feels like DP World Tour has said, you know what, we can't compete. So just go on, just leave. Have a great time over there. We'll still put on some events. You know, we'll have a nice time. You know, we'll go to these beautiful European cities. We'll have a bit of wine, play for a little bit of money, and then that's it. And it just feels like this slow kind of disintegration of something which could be amazing, because the DP World Tour. Yes, European Tour, whatever you want to call it, it is a world tour. You know, they play maybe a third of their events on continental Europe. Apart from that, they're around everywhere. They've got the entire planet to pick from and get some good events done to get this sponsorship money in. And it's just kind of like slowly petering out until we're in this situation where we're actively trying to get rid of our best players to go play on the PGA Tour, and then get the players who don't quite perform on an American circuit to come play in Europe. It feels just such a letdown. It feels such a meh thing to be doing. And I have, this is actually really going to shock you guys. I've never ran a professional golf tour before. No. So I don't know the ins and the yet. Stay tuned for next year. But I can't understand how there's so little fight left.
But I think you summed the point up there with the fact that they can't beat them in terms of, they can't be offering $2.5 million prize money for the winner of an event. Like, they can't compete with this sort of things. And sadly, in this day and age, it's just about money. And, the best players in the world want to be in these tournaments that have the big prize money and stuff like that. It's sad, but it's true. The
PGA Tour is offering this bigger prize money because they're getting investment.
Yeah.
So this is what I mean. Like, and obviously the States is a massive economy, and there's so much money over there. Like when we went to Florida the other day, I can't believe how much more money people have.
Yeah,
it's mad. But like I said, the DP World Tour has got the planet. You're honestly telling me that over a series of events, they can't find the sponsorship money, they can't get a framework in place that would compete money-wise with that tour.
Do you know who's got enough money to invest in the DP World Tour? Rory McIlroy.
You got to look at it from.
If you're looking for a £2.5 million prize purse, I'm sure he dropped that on the first tee at the Dubai Race to Dubai final bloody thing.
You got to look at it from sort of like a business perspective, of the sense of like, if you're a business like a Kazoo, for example, that they have to understand that if they're going to be putting on these big high roll tournaments and stuff like this, they're going to have to invest tens of millions to compete. And with the impressions that the DP World Tour get, I don't think that it's gonna they're not gonna do that, because why would I invest 50 million here where I'm not going to get many impressions, or I can invest in the PGA Tour where I'm actually going to get quite good impressions. I'm going to get Rory McIlroy playing in my tournament. That, you know what I mean?
It's almost like it's almost deciding which one's going to come first. Because yes, by the way, Kazoo getting some great impressions.
I know, Kazoo is good ideas.
Shout out Kazoo, shout out Didsbury.
People might not watch the Kazoo Classic at Didsbury because the field that's in there might not be that exciting.
Yeah.
They might watch the PGA Tour event because the field's more exciting. The reason the field in the PGA Tour event's more exciting is because they're paying more money.
Exactly.
It's a
the
hard
Kazoo
sell.
Classic was paying money.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. Sorry, they they need that initial investment, but I don't think they're going to be getting a business that is wealthy enough or willing enough to just let go of 50 million pounds.
It's a hard sell to tell a company and go, we don't have the players right now, but if you give us more money, they'll come and they'll go, really? Because I don't know if they will or not. But it's, oh no, trust us. Like if you give us a lot more money, we'll get them to come, and then they end up like, no offense, but Jorge Campillo wins again or something. It's just like,
that's why.
You take no offense.
You take that back.
He's a great player. I said win again. He wins all the time.
And that's why everyone goes to sort of these Dubai's to the Genesis Scottish Open, all these sort of things, because they have the prize money. So that the DP World, I know what you're saying, does have the capability to get all the players to the DP World Tour, but they just can't.
Even if they make it like what was originally the potential between this strategic partnership with the PGA Tour and DP World, it's like the Genesis Scottish Open. That's technically like a PGA and DP World Tour event.
Yes, it is.
Why can't we have more of those? Nobody wants to see players sweating their arse off in September in Memphis on a flat course, which is boring as hell. Get another event in Europe.
That's why no one watches Live.
Yeah. I think that's potentially the way they'd have to go, is that they, with this collaboration that supposedly has happened with all these tours, is that they don't have a PGA Tour event and they don't have a DP World Tour event on at the same time, and they either put them together or they just say there's no PGA Tour event this week, there's a DP World Tour event, and it allows the PGA Tour players to come across.
All the
to
big
play
boys
it.
are going to play it.
Or make just this one big world tour sort of thing. Yeah.
Which is what you know what I really want. I want a Love Actually moment. I want Keith Pelly to stand up like Hugh Grant and basically say, like, a friend who bullies us is no longer a friend.
Oh, right, okay.
And like stand up for the tour. He does anyway, but stand up for the tour a little bit more. And it's just frustrating to see.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
They just shove money in his mouth to shut him up.
I think it's more personal, because I feel that I had this real connection with the European Tour when I was growing up, and it feels, even though obviously it just feels to me that it's getting taken away, and it's just like dying this very slow, sad kind of death, and it's just, I don't know. I just feel so kind of sad about it.
Yeah, but like diesel cars eventually are getting phased out. Like you are going to have to let go of some of the things from the past.
Yeah, but the DP World Tour isn't killing the planet.
Like Blind Date just now wouldn't cut it on TV. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what? Blind Date, bring that back. That's fine. What would you rather watch? Blind Date or that episode?
Or the DP World Tour?
or that dating show now where they basically like show the exposed lower half of
Naked Attraction.
Naked Attraction.
You two are losers.
Come on. Gotta do that.
Oh, anyway.
Yeah, things will get phased out.
Yeah,
and we live
in
an internet generation, and we need to be forward thinking. Do you know what's forward thinking? TGL.
Yeah, but you don't want them going down without a fight. I think that's also the thing.
Yeah,
you want them to give a little bit of.
See him just peter away.
Like when you get competition, what should happen is when you get competition, the other side, the opponent, raises their game, and they bring something new to the table, and everybody gets better. That's the whole point of a capitalist idea. What's happening here is they've joined, and one partner is saying, okay, we'll take your good players, like we'll make us better. You can have this guy, finish under 20th this year, decent player, enjoy.
Not going to get bums on seats.
But it's like and probably, we've been going on a lot about this long enough, but I do genuinely believe this is all down to the emergence of Live, because obviously we're bringing out that the winner of an event gets £4 million. PGA Tour look at that and like, whoa, you know, God, we need to step up our game. And then the DP World here, you know, it's like one of your mates that gets like, you know, really rich, and then one that gets like all right rich, and then you're like,
I now can't go to the pub with them anymore.
I can't pay £7 pints.
I can't go to the restaurants they're going to.
Exactly. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, I love the dinner analogy.
I love a dinner analogy.
The thing is, if you were their friend before they got rich, and they were really rich, they'd be like, "Oh, it's fine. I'll cover this buffet. I'll cover the carvery."
Like when you win the lottery and you invite all your friends around before it gets announced in the news, or you ask them, what's the thing that people do? They're like, "Oh, can I borrow $3,000?" And they're like, "Oh, I don't know about that. Like, you're not my real friend. Naff off."
Well, you can't have this $250,000 that I was going to give you.
I was gonna pay your salary for life so you could come play golf with me, but I'm not going to now.
Yeah.
Rory's left the policy board. Yeah. Okay,
correct.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah.
Right.
And what it comes down to is Rory's going to live. Great.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
So after all of that, I apologise for my rant, but every now and again I do get.
We like a big
I
rant.
love your rants. I love how passionate you are about the European Tour.
I'm sorry. DP World Tour.
DP World Tour.
It's time because maybe
that's the ultimate
issue.
confusion. Is that people think there are two different tours in Europe.
I'm surprised you. I said European Tour because I hoping you weren't gonna correct me.
It's the issue.
It's the fact that the European Tour and the DP World Tour are competing against each other that makes it so difficult.
Anyway,
unbelievable.
If there are any logistic partners out there that do want to sponsor the podcast, we are available. It is now time for the toughest golf quiz on the internet. Does the intro explain everything?
Oh, of course it bloody does.
Let's go.
Hello and welcome back to the 2023 Rough Cut Open. I'm your host, Mick Warwick. This is the game where your knowledge of golf history is more important than your ability to actually hit the ball. How the game works. At the end of each episode, I describe the life and career of a famous golfer, and after each clue, these accomplished professionals write down who they think it is. However many hints it takes them to get home is how many shots they took on that hole. So, if you get a par 5 after just 4 clues, you would finish that hole in 1 under par. With 2 holes left on the front 9, we have only 1 player under par. Peter Finch at 1 under. Jacob Broadbridge has jumped to +1, with Kieran Mulhall 10 shots off the lead. Let's get back to the action on this short par 3, 112 yards. A flick of a wedge for most of today's players.
Oh, so it'll be easy then, wouldn't it? No. I didn't think so.
There's been...
Was it 10, was it?
Yeah, you're +8 and Pete's 1 under, so that's 9 shots. Yeah.
There's a lot of controversy going on at this event so far. So after a relatively easy start, the greenkeeper and course architect have been tricking up the last few holes.
We are playing Greenkeeper's Revenge at this rate.
It's got hard. So, I mean, listen, it's a professional event. It was never meant to be easy. I'm excited for the challenge.
You're here on a sponsored exemption, so don't get too uppity about it. We can kick you out whenever we want.
Remember, we promised them we'll give them an exposure and all that kind of stuff, and that's why we're playing.
I've had a couple of bad holes as well. I think I've had 2 doubles in a row.
Actually?
Yeah, I started off with like eagles and hole-in-ones. And
So what has actually happened is I've worked out that too many people were getting hole-in-ones, so I just made it really difficult.
Yeah. What's happened is you've looked out of the course, seen people making birdies, having a good time.
Yeah, tees
and
going
you've
back.
thought, you know what? Nah, stuff this. I've had a bad night, so I'm going to make everyone suffer with me.
Holes in the bunker this time.
We weren't though. We were like sort of. I think it was a good mix of we were making some hole-in-ones and
you and Pete were too far ahead.
Okay. You listen to the people online too much.
I did.
Who never lie.
You know what it was? It was people in the comments who were like, "I've had 6 hole-in-ones."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah, it's because you Googled it, you idiot."
And again, thank you for listening.
Thank you for contributing.
Thank you, viewers, and thank you for talking to us. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay, we do love you, but please be honest.
I'm sure they are.
Okay, here we go. Like I said, par 3, 112 yards. It's very slightly downhill, but there's wind into.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
What are we hitting?
Sorry, how many yards is it?
112.
Oh, right.
Should pitching wedge.
Sand wedge.
Sand wedge?
Yeah, sand wedge for Kieran.
112 downhill.
You're whacking it.
You didn't Kieran hit a wedge, right?
Yeah.
De-loft is like 22 degrees.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And aims over there.
If you hit it beneath the wind, it's fine.
Okay, shot number 1. I love the pressure. Here we go. This golfer played on the Challenge Tour in 2007 and 2008.
So
Name any golfer.
that is
That's literally about 500 golfers.
Well, yeah, guess one.
It might have been Pete at one point.
2007, 2008.
This golfer played on the Challenge Tour in 2007 and 2008.
I see.
Wow. Okay.
I need to have a conversation with the tournament organisers.
You're supposed to get it in par. You're not supposed to get it in one. If you got it in one, this would be a pitch and putt. Or a bloody putt challenge.
But this is a par 3.
Yes, a par 3.
So no one could get a hold of one.
You know what? It's 112 yards. This is a blind tee shot.
Yeah.
It's like
This is like press work.
You don't look at the marker post and you're like, where's the pin? I don't know.
The marker post is where you think the flag is, and then you walk over the top, and it's like
don't.
Yeah, it's like Shishkin actually.
Yeah.
Sorry, not press work. Shishkin.
2007 and 2008.
just write a name of a golfer, Pete. Let's be honest.
I'm just trying to think of anyone who's going to be in that range.
Yeah.
See
That's
that?
what
See
I've
now.
thought about
That's what I'm saying. It's not about how your ability to hit the ball. It's about your history knowledge.
Like, yeah, you roughly know when. So I'm assuming the next year they went on tour. So 2009 is when they emerged.
Well, you're about to
emerged.
You're about to get some info on shot two.
And they probably went on to the European tour because that's what they did back then as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And played all of the events in Europe.
Yeah.
Didn't go over to that stupid PGA Tour.
Yes. PGA Tour out the window.
That's Nick Powder, God.
Okay, shot number 2. Yeah, short putt. This golfer participated in the 2021 Ryder Cup at Whistling Straits, but did not contribute any points. They lost their Sunday singles match against Brooks Koepka.
Oh my God! Now that is a good clue.
See, I told you.
So that's good.
I told you. This golfer participated in the 2021 Ryder Cup at Whistling Straits, but did not contribute any points.
Let's go.
Their record was 0-3-0.
Let's go.
And they lost their Sunday singles match against Brooks Koepka.
On the bird train. Come on.
You're birding this one.
Yeah, I birdied
Come on,
it.
lad.
He's walked that in as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
I told you it was a good par 3.
Birdie train. Come on.
Tricky tee shot.
The problem with that Whistling Straits is so many people didn't get any points.
Yeah. That's honestly what I'm thinking. I'm kind of like thinking back, saying, "Oh my God!" Like,
I had a name, and then I was like, well, actually, it could be four different people.
I only know this because of my time
Of Brooks
during
Koepka.
Kes the Player, and I did a Brooks Koepka one, and I had a look at like the. I was just looking at his stats, and then it gave me his like record on the Ryder Cup.
Okay, don't say anything else.
Yeah,
don't say anything else.
Yes, that's my first birdie.
it's very confident. You know what? If you throw something out now and it lips out, this is going to be so funny. He seems pretty confident though.
He seems to be very, and also he knows Brooks Koepka. So
I know Brooks.
It kind of was a little bit of a tee up for you, but
If
you know,
I
you
get
still
this
you still
right-
had to know. You still had to know.
If I get this wrong.
Are we?
Some collusion.
Are we saying there's some collusion between the player and the greenkeeper?
No,
here?
there definitely wasn't. There definitely wasn't. There definitely wasn't.
Did you tell him the pin placement before he went out?
He went out early.
Okay.
Yeah, he
Walked the
drove
course.
round in a car, walked the course. Yeah.
We did not drive in this morning. We have no conversation together.
And I'm very militant about you lot not looking at my laptop.
Exactly.
No, I want
While
to
I'm
see.
planning it.
I want to see the WhatsApp messages.
Shot number 3. Right, this is for par. Should be tapping this in. Kieran thinks he's already in the hole. Here we go. His 2 Rolex Series wins came in 2019, the Aberdeen Standard Investments Scottish Open. There's another potential sponsor for us. In a playoff versus Benjamin Hebert. And Italian Open, where he beat Matt Fitzpatrick by 1 stroke. Silence over there, love it. His 2 Rolex Series wins came in 2019. Aberdeen Standard Investments Scottish Open in a playoff versus Benjamin Hebert. And Italian Open, where he beat Matt Fitzpatrick by 1 stroke.
Well, that's maybe not as much confidence. I don't remember those.
Oh no! Has it just lived out? It's not lived out, has it? Oh no! He's lipped out.
I told you there was no collusion.
The Scottish Open as well. Like
That's actually thrown me a little bit.
because I'm thinking of like past winners. We've had Minwoo, wouldn't play in a Ryder Cup. We've had Aaron Rai, not played in the Ryder Cup, and that's more around the 2019 time as well.
Yeah, so 2019. What's actually throwing me a little bit is I had Matt Fitzpatrick down as my last answer.
Well, that would be
So
incorrect.
obviously, it's not going to be.
Which is why other golfers get mentioned.
Which is very useful, by the way. I appreciate that.
I've got a name, but I feel like I would remember him winning that.
So
but
would
then I don't
So
know.
would I think we've got the same person.
Yeah.
Has no, I'm not going to say. I'm not going to say.
I feel like I'm going to keep my name because I don't know well enough that he didn't win it.
Yeah.
But because I feel, I don't know.
We weird one.
Yeah. That's
I'd rather take the bogey, or even I'd rather chance it for a birdie.
Okay. So if
Are you keeping yours? Yeah.
If you get it from now, you'll be over par. So that was your par putt. This is for 1 over. Oh God, I just love it so much. I feel like this, like I do about editing record breakers.
This is your favourite.
This is your thing.
I just
Love
love it. Speaking of record breakers, he shot a course record 61 at Scotland's Renaissance Club. Stay tuned for the Record Breakers season finale on the Peter Finch Golf Channel.
Okay,
Yes.
good.
No one's saying anything because people are playing at home.
Okay.
Yes.
When the hell did he win the Scottish
I
Open in
cannot picture it
2019?
at all.
It's
2 Rolex events as well. Good on you.
in 2019.
Now I know what it is. Was it a Renaissance?
No.
That's
Not
what I'm thinking.
2019.
It wasn't
No.
that 61
Was
he
it-
shot.
When it
wasn't.
Kings-
It must
Carry on, Al.
must not have been that open.
Carry on. I'll check.
Wasn't it like Carnoustie or something?
I mean, we'll find out in a second. But I don't.
I'm presuming we've all got this.
Well,
Have you-
yeah.
have you-
Sure.
Well, shall I
just
tell
carry
everyone
on.
who it
Have you
was?
played
Can I
him?
give another clue?
You've played him in Dubai.
Peter Finch ruined his career. Is that who it is?
This is for 2 over. A live golfer with 12 professional wins and a career high of 21 in the OWGR. Today's golfer is the burnt cheeseburger himself, Burnt Wiesberger.
Well, a par. Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Okay,
there.
so let's double check that because I'm pretty sure that was right.
Just go on.
He definitely.
Wow. No, it was at the Renaissance.
Oh,
yeah.
right.
So it must have been that 61.
I cannot remember any.
No,
of
I
this.
don't remember any of that either.
What?
I wonder if this was also before it was.
Yeah, so on 14th of July 2019, he won the Aberdeen Standard Investment Scottish Open at
That's
Renaissance
crazy.
Club in North Berwick. He won in a playoff over Benjamin Hebert. On 13th of October 2019, he won the Italian Open for his 3rd victory of the European Tour season. This pushed him to first place in the season-long race to Dubai,
Wow.
where he beat Fitz by 1 shot.
Wow. 2019. Where was that?
He was actually really good.
I'm just trying to think where the Open was. That was Shane Lowry, who was my Shane Lowry Portrush.
Rush. Well, that was good.
was
actually.
good.
That was good.
That was one of the best one you've done.
I think because that was fair.
It's a good
it was
balance.
I'm not going to lie. Tee shot, blind tee shot, bit whiffy.
You just slapped it. There's nothing to do with me.
I love that second shot though, but it's kept coming.
Yeah.
Love that.
So what-
Okay, so how did we do?
I got a birdie.
I got a bird.
You birded it.
I got a par.
You got a par. Okay, so who did you have?
I had Tommy Fleetwood at the start.
Yeah, challenge
Yeah,
tour.
I had Shane.
I had literally no one at the start. 'Cause
Yeah, you didn't even hit your first shot.
I refused to play your game to begin with. I was like, you know what? This is
I'm not gonna do
ridiculous. I'm not going to do it.
I think you should get a 2-shot penalty for that.
And then I just aim for the center. I aim for the center of green. Just hit it on there.
Right, okay.
And just hope I better be pulled.
Yeah,
and then
in future, you should put a name down.
yeah, but
Otherwise, you didn't take that, and you hit your first shot from the green.
I would probably say that when you said that 2008, 2007, 2008, I was kind of like obviously confronted with so many players that it's kind of like hard to pick.
Just put yourself in there. Just put a name.
Okay,
Yeah.
a name.
So has it been at Renaissance like the last?
Since 2019,
Yeah.
That was the first year.
as a guess. I don't know.
No, I think it's been longer than that.
Yeah, 2019.
Yeah, wow.
Because Dundonald was 2015, wasn't it?
16.
16.
But I've got a feeling
17.
that it
17.
was 2021 the first time it had like the PGA Tour thing.
No. Had,
Yes. So the
Well,
reason
no, it was
that-
Genesis, wasn't it? So
look,
2000.
Look,
Yeah, no, that's just what it is now.
Yeah. So the reason that I said yes when you said it was a combined tour event is because when I went through and put the dates in for next year's calendar, I put in all the tour events, and
that's
it came
the-
up
yeah,
on both
that
lists.
It would have basically been these two, like when Genesis took over
So it's going to be Renaissance
for
till
2026.
2026. Wow.
I'd love to see
Yes,
it go back
and-
to like Gullen and stuff
Yeah,
like
Gullen,
that.
not Lehman.
The reason that I mentioned Record Breakers is because the season finale of Record Breakers is coming out in about 2 weeks' time.
12th of December.
12th of December.
Book it.
Peter Finch and Matt Fry at Renaissance.
day off.
going for that record. Yeah, take the day off work.
Because it's a long
Sell.
way.
Get your mates round.
Yeah,
Get it all
get a
in.
couple of beers in there because I'll tell you this much: I've edited 9 holes so far, and it's over an hour.
Oh no.
I've not even done the intro.
Oh no.
Wow, unbelievable scenes.
It's going to be right good. That.
Right, well, that's been great. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening. And yet again, I do reiterate a massive thanks. On
Yes,
behalf
thank
of
you,
the team.
so
thank you
much.
for joining us.
Yeah.
50 is pretty special.
50 is good. Didn't think we'd get this far.
I remember stumbling over that first episode like it was
Yeah.
yesterday.
It'd be lovely. It'd be interesting.
Just like now.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see where, like, or what everyone's favourite podcast is. So let us know in the comments as well.
And if it's not this one, then don't bother.
And if, this is. I really enjoyed this one.
That was good.
That's good.
Well done. I'll tell you what. Should we do another one right now?
Well, on that bombshell, let's close this episode. A huge thank you to everyone for listening. Big thank you to George for popping on the
Oh
podcast
yes,
as
thanks
well.
George, and congratulations, sir.
And congrats
well done.
as well.
Yeah.
That feels so
we
long
will
See you
ago.
soon.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll
For a
see you soon,
match.
George, and we will see you guys soon as well. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you do. Follow us on your favorite podcast provider. And we'll see you next time.
See you, everyone.